So what up my people, welcome back to my channel once again. So today I'm going to be sharing my trade recap on gold like I said, and I will be sharing my trade recap from 25th, that's Monday. It will be 24th August, 25th August 2025 to let's look at this date that we ended this particular market. And this market closed at this market closed as 29th February, 29th Friday, August 2025. That's Friday, August 29th of Friday, August 2025. When you are not used to 95 days, dates is even hard for you to call. Yes, now I'm proud to say that I'm not used to 9 to 5. Yes, now. Okay, so this new week, this particular week that passed, showed a lot of traders shaggy. When I say shaggy, traders understand what I mean by shaggy, especially gold. Gold was not respecting any structure, was not respecting any structure, and anybody that knows trading will know that structure is what plays a vital role in trading. Structure plays a vital role. Okay, so as you can see, we started the week with this new week opening gap, and immediately the gap was opened. We saw a candle that went there to cover up that particular gap immediately. This always happened literally every week, literally every fucking week. So immediately I saw that manipulation. What I was looking for was a rundown, because there is no how the market will continue buying at this point. What it only came to do was to cover this particular level. Now don't forget, every new week this particular strategy is what I use to bank my first profits. I want you to understand this. New week opening gap, I always use it at Asian session to get my new profits that I will use for London session in the morning. So this is what happened here. This is also an order block. So what I was waiting for was the break of this particular order block, then the retest. That was very simple. What I was waiting for was a break of this order block, and when it breaks it, the retest. And immediately at the middle of this particular table, that was where my entry was. And immediately the market came, tapped me into this market. Can you see? 2 a.m. immediately. 2 a.m. And the market tapped me into this market immediately and gave me a 5:1 RR. That's on Asian session. That's on Monday. So after that particular trade, I didn't see any clear setup that I could take. I didn't see any clear setup. I waited till I didn't see any clear setup for Monday and for London session that very Monday. But this was a nice session. This was a nice setup. This one already is a nice setup because these are all liquidities around here, and my psychological level already it's a confluence already. So the moment the market cleared all this liquidity, tapped into this particular OCL, we saw a nice movement. What I was waiting for wasn't that particular movement. This wasn't the movement I was waiting for. I was waiting for New York session because this particular timing was not for me. This is 10:20. If I miss any trade that is more than around 9 o'clock, from 7 a.m. to probably 9:30 going to 10, if I miss any of those windows, I wait for the next session. So imagine now that, okay, I ended up taking this particular trade here at that 10 o'clock, and you see 10:25. Imagine I took this trade and I was probably targeting this particular zone. Don't forget, my break even would have been on my entry already, and the market will come, take me out, and started going my way. You see the reason I didn't enter the market from the first touch. I waited for the second touch. Now, why did I wait for the second touch? Because I saw a clear order block, clear inducement. Yes, very simple. Clear order block, clear inducement. Let's count the rules why I took this trade. break of structure first. I'm going to label everything so that you have idea of what I'm saying. Break of structure, isn't it? Inducement. This is my own inducement here. You can put yours anywhere you like, but that is my inducement, and I'm going to label it so that we'll have idea of our rules. Inducement. I didn't even spell it right. Okay, so this is inducement. This is our inducement, and we are looking for our clear order block. Now, when I'm marking this order block, I will mark from the bottom here. Can you see? This is my clear order block here, and I'll put it as my order block positive. Yes, this is my clear order block. So now, after all these rules, what else am I looking for again? Imbalance. A lot of people tend to forget this. Imbalance. A lot of people tend to forget this. A lot of people tend to forget that imbalance is very important in every trade you are trying to take, especially all these SMC traders. Imbalance plays a vital role. If you don't see huge displacement creating an imbalance, bro, you are not taking that trade because it's going to fail. Yes, you are not taking that trade because that particular order block did not get good displacement for it to hold the market. But now, see what happened here. Our first rule was our break of structure. Let's even say some people will bring their break of structure to this particular level. They will bring their break of structure to this level, but what I was waiting for to be broken was this level. I don't care about what you are breaking. I was waiting for this level to be broken. Can you see? If I extend it, that means I extended my break of structure to make sure that the body candle holds it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So what happened here was that the order block had a nice displacement for it to hold on to the next trade that is coming for it, and that was why we saw a nice retest. Can you see? A nice retest. I always say something about my psychological level. Most of my order block are seen on my psychological level or close to my psychological level. That's why I call them reaction level, reaction zones. Okay, let me not stress too much. When you face a lot of loss, you come back to zone trading. Okay, so this is what happened here. The moment I saw this second touch, I was ready to enter the market, and immediately my stop loss was here, and I traded zone to zone, from this zone to this particular zone, and we banked a 6:9, a 6:1 RR. It is a 7:1 RR. We banked from this level here, from this zone here to this particular zone. Yes, that's how we smashed two nice trades on Monday. We didn't have any loss, and Monday we closed in profits. So for Tuesday, a lot of momentum has happened. This is where Monday closed. So for Tuesday, we had a nice displacement around Asian session. Can you see it? Can you see this displacement? There is someone I told something. I would always say this on literally every of my episode. Recently, Asian session moves better than London session, and I will prove it. I will prove it in this week again. Yes. So, as you can see, this is the close of Monday, isn't it? And this is where Asian session started from. Can you see 11:05? This is where Asian session started from. Nice displacement for a sell and immediate displacement for a buys. Would we call this a news? It was just movement. It was just nice movement around Asian session. So now this is what happened here. The market started 11:40, and the displacement for Asian session, can you see? 11:50 a.m. These are still all Asian session. So what I was looking at after this, you see, this was the displacement I was talking about. This is the displacement from Asian session. Let's look at London session. Can you see London session, how it's being choppy? Oh god. Okay, so after we had this whole displacement, what I was waiting for on this particular trade, this kind of trade, I normally wait for liquidity sweep. So why I took this particular trade was that I was waiting for it to clear out the liquidity at the top of this particular trade, and the moment I saw the grab of that liquidity, I entered the sell for this particular trade, and immediately came back to our entry, dangled into our entry before it gave us a 4:1 RR immediately. And on the second trade for Tuesday, after I saw the break of this particular psychological level, what I was supposed to wait for a nice displacement, but this displacement trapped me. This particular displacement trapped me. I was supposed to wait for the second candle to displace the same way this particular candle displaced, but it did not work. And the moment I saw this particular movement, I was hoping on a retest. I was hoping and anticipating for a retest, and the market came, retest, and also took me out. And that's how we also lost 1%. So took me out. That's the trades for Tuesday. After this particular loss, did not enter any particular trade again. Waited for Wednesday. So for Wednesday, we had two consecutive loss. So now for Wednesday, I'll be going to the trade straight. I won't want to waste too much time on this particular recap. After the break of this particular level, what I was waiting for was a retest of this level and go into this psychological area. Now, why did I enter this trade? I saw a clear liquidity. Can you see this particular trade did not tap into this breaker block, but irrespective, the market came, took me out of that breaker block. Now, why did I enter this second trade? Psychological level. The moment this candle closed inside this my psychological level, this particular black candle, the moment I saw the closure of this particular candle, I was still anticipating for a buy, and that was why I entered the second trade also. And the second trade also came, took me out immediately, and that was how we encountered two losses consecutively. Okay, so for this third trade, why did I enter this third trade? So, on the 1 hour time frame, we had a stop hunt, but on the 5 minutes time frame, I saw this clear resistance. This was a clear resistance on the 5 minutes time frame. We all know that resistance on the higher time frame holds more power than the resistance on the lower time frame. So this is a resistance on the 5 minutes time frame. That's it, on the lower time frame. That means we know that this resistance would not hold for a long time. It's just going to create just few pips and move back in the opposite direction. And that was what happened here. The moment I saw all this particular liquidity, you will not understand, but let me put it this way. After drawing this line, you will notice that most of these candles did not mitigate that resistance area. Most of them did not mitigate the resistance area. So we had a nice build up. So what I was waiting for and what I was anticipating for was a reversal. My stop loss was tightened. Before, my stop loss was around here, and it actually gave me a 2:1 RR. But when the trade started moving, reduced my stop loss and it gave me a 4:1 RR. So I cut out of this trade because of this support and the 5-minute OCL. And my anticipation for that trade was that I want you guys to see this particular rules. You see, trading rules is very important. Very, very important. Trading rule is very, very important. See what happened here. My plan was that if it breaks the level with huge displacement, if it breaks this particular level with huge displacement, I'm selling to this next zone. I'm selling to this next zone. So what I was expecting was that if it breaks to this particular displacement, maybe it displaced here, the mitigation, maybe probably a pullback that would happen to come and retest this level is where I will enter from, and I will trade it to this level. You see why you need to follow your rules. But because it didn't happen that way, I held on to my hands, sat on my hands, and can you see, it started buying because it did not break this particular level. It started buying immediately. And my trading rules was that very day, I was looking for buys, but catching these particular sells changed my mentality, or should I say my psychology, about holding on to buys. Changed my psychology about holding on to buys, and I didn't take this trade. And why I didn't take this trade was because of these sells that I've already cut. Don't forget, on these two trades, I was anticipating for a buy. So why did I not hold on to these particular buys? You see? Okay, so that is it for that, and that is how we actually caught this nice trade, and we caught this nice 2 SLs too, because we also followed our rules. We'll call it a nice SL. So that is it for Wednesday. We'll head into Thursday. So Thursday didn't actually create any clear setup, but we got this nice resistance on the 5 minutes time frame, and I entered immediately. I don't even have time to think about whether it's a good setup or not a good setup. All I know is that I don't just analyze and not take the trade. If you see me analyzing any trade, then I'm taking it. So that was what happened here. I've seen this resistance since, had idea of this resistance since on Tuesday. Even the Asian session, I was hoping that if it comes to this particular level, I'm still selling. But later, when I got to realize this was the first resistance and this was a liquidity inside it, and the market cleared the liquidity, cleared the resistance, and started coming down. So there was no reason for me to actually use this same resistance again. No reason, because it has been used already. So what am I coming to use here? There is no liquidity, there is nothing to be used around it. So that was how we caught this particular SL. Now, the same Wednesday, I saw nice pullback. After I saw this pullback, loan order block doesn't have nice displacement, but this psychological level has been tested about 4 times. It has been tested about 4 times. 1, this is the second time. 2, this is the 3rd test of this my psychological level. It's also a reaction level, and I also have an order block here. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting a buy. So the moment the market came into this particular level, my buy limit was here already, and that is how we caught a 5:1 RR. Yeah, that is how we caught a 5:1 RR. So going on, we also had this nice retracement here, coming back to our entry. So how did I catch that trade? I marked the top to the bottom, and I was expecting it to respect my 0.618 level. Can you see? And it did so. Respected our 0.618 level, and we took this trade to this last call. Isn't it? Yeah. So after that particular trade, what we are also looking at was the fib level again, marked from the top of this particular level to the bottom of this level. Can you see? Respected our 0.618 level and immediately gave us a nice reaction. and we caught a 2:1 RR. If we put it here, it is a 3:1 RR, but on the main MT5 we've already calculated our RR and we are able to get 2%, and that is how we also traded Thursday, and we were out in profit. For Friday, I don't want to explain this because it's an impulsive movement. It's an impulsive movement. It is a revenge trading. It is revenge trading because on Asian session, I remember why I entered this trade. On Asian session, I was seeing previous high. This was our previous high here, and I wanted to trade it to the previous high. That was the reason actually. There is no huge confluence around this. This was the main reason why I took that particular trade, and it resulted into an SL. And this trade, I actually took this trade based off of my 30 minutes analysis. No, my 1 hour analysis, sorry. It was on a 1 hour time frame that I caught this particular trade. And this trade happened on Friday. Now I want to explain how I caught this trade. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a clear order block. Can you see the order block? After this order block, can you notice that this particular wick did not mitigate the body of the order block? Can you see? It did not mitigate the body of the order block. So what does it show you? It shows you that this liquidity made that order block very strong. The liquidity made the order block very strong. So what I was waiting for was a tap of this, was a clear of this liquidity only self. Because if I am able to get a clear of this liquidity, I am into the market already. I am in the market already. Can you see? But I was expecting the tap of this particular order block, and it was, don't forget, this is the 1 hour time frame. Very hard to get entry from the 1 hour time frame. And when I saw this particular movement coming back, I had a buy limit on my liquidity already. I had a buy limit on that particular liquidity, this particular liquidity here. But irrespective, I was on the 5 minutes time frame watching. Little to no drawdown. What is little to no drawdown? I had no drawdown on this particular trade. This particular trade was drawdownless. Yes, there was no drawdown on this particular trade, and the trade gave us immediate 7:1 RR. Now this trade was taken on Friday, and we banked a nice trade here. So that is it for this particular week. Thanks for watching my trade recap, guys, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace out.